It began before time wore the face of clocks and before the stars first shimmered into being. In the hush between the divine thought and the birth of breath, where love was not a word but the pulse of existence itself, from the silent cradle of eternity where nothing yet had formed a whisper, moved a yearning, a thread spun from the soul of the infinite, and with it the idea of you and I, two sparks destined to collide across the endless spiral of creation, not once but forever, before the oceans gathered themselves in shells of moonlight, before the mountains learned to carry the weight of silence, and before light had kissed the eyelids of the world. We existed not as bodies or voices but as the promise of each other. Not even the angels with all their songs woven in gold could name what we were, for ours was a bond that escaped even the language of paradise. It did not begin with a glance nor a meeting nor a touch, for it needed none. It was a truth that breathed its own name, a circle drawn not in space but in essence. When the stars were born they echoed our vow, and when they die their fading light shall still carry the memory of us. Our souls are not travelers that stumbled into love by accident, they are halves of a flame lit at the core of forever, drawn to each other not by choice but by the gravity of what simply must be. The universe could break 1,000 times, and still somehow we would find our way back through the folds of dimensions, through lifetimes forgotten and futures unborn, because love like ours is not held by skin or name or hour. It is the river underneath all rivers, flowing back to its source no matter how far it runs. When I first saw you, it was not the first time, it was the echo of every time before, the blooming of a flower that had waited for eons to open again. And though my lips were unfamiliar with your name, my soul knelt in recognition, knowing this was not discovery but return. You looked at me with the eyes of every life we ever lived, sometimes stranger, sometimes lover, sometimes shadowed in distance, sometimes bright beside me, but always you, always me, never apart in truth. Even when death came as a curtain, in other worlds we never truly left each other, for love knows not the fear of endings. I have searched for you in laughter, in dreams, and poems that spilled from me like rain, in faces I passed without knowing why my heart pulled away, and now I know it was you. It waited for your presence, the compass I forgot. I held you, walked into my life like the last missing line of an ancient song, and everything began to rhyme. Our love does not burn, it glows a fire without smoke, a warmth without wound, gentle as the breath of dawn, yet deeper than the dark before creation. I do not need a lifetime with you, though I would live 1,000 more beside you gladly. I need only the certainty that whatever comes, whatever storms or silences may stretch between us, we will remain, we will endure, not as lovers frozen in time but as the spirit of love itself, reborn again. When I hold your hand, I do not just hold the now, I hold every promise made beneath galaxies, every reunion across lifetimes, every tear shed in longing, and every joy whispered across time. The gods may forget their own names and the stars may fall like dust, but I will still remember the curve of your smile, the way your laughter makes the air shimmer, the softness in your gaze that tells me home is not a place but a person. You are my once and my always, my past and my destiny. The question I was born to answer, the answer I was born to protect. Our love is not a chapter, it is the ink itself, flowing from a divine pen across the scroll of the cosmos. And when others write tales of passion and pain, of fleeting fires and forgotten vows, ours will remain unwritten yet eternal. For how can one define what has no end? Even silence is loud with our story, even emptiness is full with our memory. I have met you in dreams where the sky was purple and time stood still, and I have lost you in lives where wars or fate or fear tore us apart, but even then I never stopped believing I would walk through fire to find you, drown in oceans of sorrow, cross every distance known or imagined, because something in me knows, always knows, that you are not apart from me. You are part of me and I of you. We are the same breath in two bodies, the same note in different instruments, and when we speak the universe listens. We are the morning that always returns, the light that never fades, even in the quietest corners of life, in the most mundane days, in the rustle of leaves or the hum of distant music. I hear you, I feel you, I remember us. No clock can measure us, no grave can end us. Our love is older than time and younger than hope. If ever I am lost in the darkness, it is your light that will guide me. If ever I forget myself, it is your love that will remind me. We do not need to say forever, for we already are forever. Let others chase fame or fortune, let others write history in stone. I only wish to live in the moments between your heartbeats, to be the quiet joy in your soul, to be the reason you smile without knowing why. And when the world fades, when even the sun forgets to rise, when time itself exhales its final breath, I will still be here loving you as I always have, as I always will, beyond name, beyond form, beyond everything except the truth we carry, that you and I are not just in love, we are love. When the winds forget the scent of flowers and the oceans dry into forgotten beds of cracked memory, when language itself fails and stars lose the will to shine, I will still trace the outline of your soul in the air and feel it linger on my fingertips like the residue of truth. There is no moment I can point to and say here is where it began, because with us there is no beginning, just a continuation of forever that keeps folding into itself like breath into breath, thought into thought. Even when the world tries to define love with boundaries, with rules, with sharp edges and temporary thrills, we remain untouched, because what we share is not a storm that passes but a climate that surrounds and nourishes. Your voice lives in the echo of every silence I've ever loved. When I sit quietly, it is not loneliness I feel but your presence in the spaces between thoughts. I remember your laughter before I heard it, and your eyes before I ever saw them, because my soul remembered what my body forgot. We do not fall in love, we rise in it, we dissolve in it, and are reborn in its light. Time may wear away the edges of mountains, and cities may vanish beneath the dust of their own ruins, but what lives between you and me will never need rebuilding. Love like ours isn't written in chapters that close, it's written in stars, etched into the sky that never ends. The warmth of your hand in mine is the proof of every promise life ever dared to make, and the way your spirit fills the room even when you're gone is the proof of something greater than distance. I have heard songs that tried to explain love, read poems that reached toward it, but none touch what I feel in your presence. Yours is the breath that steadies me, the mirror that shows me my truest form, the fire that warms me without ever burning. I don't want love to be dramatic, I want it to be eternal, steady, certain, like ours, like the earth's devotion to the sun. Not flashy, not fleeting, but forever faithful. I have seen you in all your seasons, in the storm of your sorrow and the bloom of your joy, and never once did my heart waver. That is eternal love, not perfection, but presence. I loved you when you were strong and when you were breaking, when you were kind and when you forgot how, and I will love you in every shade of you that life reveals. Even when the sky rains sorrow, we are an umbrella of memory and meaning. Even when your voice trembles, I hear the melody of your soul playing strong beneath it. I do not need you to always be whole, for we are not two complete people trying to be one, we are two infinite beings already one before we ever met. I have dreamt of lifetimes where we were oceans apart and still found each other, drawn like rivers that forget their names but never their course. Sometimes love is not loud. It is not declarations or diamonds or dances under moonlight. Sometimes it is the quiet choosing, every day, in the mundane, in the ordinary, in the pain. That's where eternity lives, in the patient hands that hold you when you are no one to the world, in the eyes that see you when you are invisible. And you have always seen me, not just the me that smiles, but the me that breaks, that bleeds, that doubts. You have touched the trembling heart of me with the reverence of one touching something sacred. In your gaze I have found absolution, and in your arms I have found the home I never knew I lost. No matter where life leads, I carry you not as a memory but as marrow. You are in my voice when I speak of truth, in my steps when I walk with purpose, in my silence when I pray. You are not a part of my story. You are the ink that writes it, the breath that gives it life. Others will speak of passion that burned and faded. We will never fade. Because what we have does not feed on desire, but on understanding. We are not bound by the fragile thread of emotion but by the steel of devotion. Even if your face changes in another life, even if your voice is foreign, my soul will know you. I will find you by the way the wind carries your presence, by the way the world seems more aligned when you are near. Love like ours does not ask to be explained. It simply is. Like light, like gravity, like eternity. We are the echoes of a love the gods themselves envied. And if ever you feel lost, know this, I am the whisper in your dreams, the stillness in your storms, the hand on your back when you walk into the unknown. We will always find each other, because we were never apart. We are not two people, we are one truth. And when the final breath of this life leaves my lips, I will not weep. I will smile, for I know that even death is not enough to break us. I will see you again, in another time, another sky, another name, but it will be you, it will always be you. Until then, I will live with you in every heartbeat, in every sunrise, in every star that dares to shine, for we are the eternal poem that even silence cannot end. Even if the world forgets the meaning of love and calls it illusion, a dream wrapped in poetry and longing, I will stand in defiance of forgetting, because I have lived it with you, and I know no illusion can carry the weight of what we share. They may call it madness to believe in forever, to stake your heart on a flame unseen, but we have touched it, not with hands, but with moments, with glances that spoke like thunder in silence, with pauses that held more truth than any vow spoken aloud. You are not just the person I love, you are the echo of every sacred thing that ever whispered meaning into the void. I do not need to measure love in years or kisses, nor weigh it in gifts or time, for every second I breathe with the knowledge of your existence is a lifetime of love fulfilled. And if love is a myth, let me be its only worshipper, its final believer, because I have seen the shape of your soul and it mirrors mine so exactly that to doubt you is to doubt myself. When I think of you, I don't think of one moment, but of many, the time you laughed when nothing was funny, the way your eyes softened at small, unnoticed kindnesses, the way you looked at the moon like it carried our names. Love like ours is not made in haste or held by surface things, it's carved slowly, gently, in the shared silences, in the knowing without explanation. The world often moves too fast to understand a love that waits, a love that listens, a love that weathers storms without seeking shelter elsewhere. But we understand it. You and I are slow fire, deep river, ancient wind. You are the gravity that grounds me when I drift too far into fear, the wings that lift me when doubt dark.